computers are working. I will tell you what I want to say. We can't breathe. We are a mile high. You know we live on the beach, all of us. We live at sea level. And we're up here. I'm getting exhausted just talking right now. So just please be kind with us. And I think that's all I'm going to say at this panel. Yes, that's the mountain folk. They have their tanks.
Okay, we'll get fucked up oxygen for you. Anyway, I have to make us on the first panel. I'm curious.
Who?
You never heard of it. The show was crap, so watch.
Okay.
My question today was, since we have a very we have a lot of teenagers and people who are coming of age and discovering their identities in this audience, my question is for all of you. What the fuck were you like in high school? Starting with Richard Ford is the obvious job of the group.
I was a theater dork. I was a musical theater kid. I played Conrad Birdie and Blackjack Birdie, and I played Breeze, and I played Happy Yoko and Little Abner, so I mean, I just...
You were the one guy.
I was the guy. Yeah, the other guy was 6 feet tall. But everyone wanted to be my class. So that was fun. And in high school, I was very little. Like, I didn't even hit puberty until I was like 16 and a half, almost 17 years old. So thanks for bringing that up.
So you're playing with the theater kids.
By far.
Yeah.
By far. That was my group, yeah. And the football guys.
Okay, so I also want to ask you about anything you feel like you would have picked on the group that Richard was in high school.
I would have kicked his ass. Also, both shows were...
You would have spanked it first.
I would have spanked it first, and I was hungry. I would have done a few other things. What did you ask? Who were you doing?
We're asking what were you in high school? What was your type in high school, and what group did you gravitate towards?
I was in that group under the bleachers who fuck each other.
Oh, I know that guy with see more butts.
Taste more butts.
Oh, taste
Munch more butt munch. Where do you think we go when we die?
It's like this right now.
We literally just sat around on Friday night and just spent the waking hours of the evening talking about what do you want done with your course. So that was the next one.
Well, I don't care what people do in my course. You can stuff me, chop me, throw me in a fucking blender. I'm dead. My nose is going to be way hotter than that bloated. You think you get bloated and you shit yourself when you die?
We never showed that,
He already does that
How many people would like to see that more on IPA on videos? There's one body here.
I think if you notice in the animation, when someone dies in the human world, their pants get a little fuller. I said, yeah, that's gross. He's like, no, put it in.
See, that's why this is fucking moderated. What were you like in high school?
I was so lame. I did all my homework and did it on time and did it early. And I did dance after school all the time and I had a really hot boyfriend. And he was my rule-breaking person.
Oh, you were a bad boy.
Yeah.
Well, I was late for a particular reason. I was late because I was trying to fit in with the cool kids, and it really didn't work. Like, I transferred schools when I was from 7th grade to 8th grade to like a more rural school, like a high school, and I grew up in Buffalo, North Carolina, or Greenville, North Carolina, and I had all these friends when I moved, and I'm in northern transplant, and my parents were not home, so everybody loved like these old money southern families, and they would call me like Yankee as an insult. It was very amusing. But I tried to one of the only girls I knew in high school who's lovely. I'm still friends with her now, but she was like in the cool clique. And I'm like, I didn't have boobs.
Watermelons.
I got a dick extension because we got the Amazon deal.
Nice.
Anyway,
So I was just trying to fit in with people because I bought like polos and stuff. We were like multiple polos at the time. It was so weird. And then I was always doing theater. I think the school was so small we didn't have like nerdy theater kids because there were too many people in theater. Like out of the shock of our class. You know what I mean? Like you can't fill us all. There's too many of us. But I was gonna say something that's gonna be great.
it's all been very emotional.
It's fine. Oh, my biggest story is secret that I love anime. I was so embarrassed. So like, oh my god, there's these cool girls, no one can know. And like, I remember when I was able to get like download iTunes music. One of my first songs was Sweet Dreams cover by Marilyn Manson. And I was like, let's go back. And I listened to 3 Days Grace on the way. And then I really learned polo. And I have so many secrets. So, like, that's why I was saying. So I wasn't being myself. That's why.
There you go. So be yourself,
It's so much more mainstream now. It's crazy. It's so awesome. I had a panic attack, so it was like the first anime convention I ever went to as a fan. Otakon. Has anyone been? Otakon?
Let's go with the
The
vote.
one in Baltimore?
Yeah.
I have never been, but I live, Maryland's where I'm from, so.
It's awesome. My parents are from Maryland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we do. It's really
Okay, I need to go to Maryland. But it's really funny because, like, they never have me, so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I feel very loved.
I know you were a theater kid, and I know that like that was your scene. But did you have like an argument? And how was it like Baltimore specifically for you versus like you living in LA or something like that? Did it have its own culture that kind of helped shape you creatively?
Well, I'm not from Baltimore. I've been many times, but I'm from kind of more like the Civil War area, like where there's all the battlefields and stuff, like I'm in the rural.
Lived on the Civil War battlefield.
No, right next to them. So, you know, so I'm always further. I always describe where I lived as kind of like between DC and Baltimore. We're kind of like equal distance-ish.
Are you live and zooming in on random fans?
Yeah, this one, because he's filming, they are filming me, so I'm just pretending. And also say hi to the, say hi to my audience.
Your audience, this one or the one on
The one on here, the one that we got 1,200 people.
Wow. Okay.
That's, all right, hi guys.
Please see number. It's 12.
It's 12. All right, I'm gonna just leave that there. They can watch from the floor.
Great content, I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean, I was from, actually, I wasn't really part of one, but the closest was like the Loser Arcades was kind of animated. That was the closest, because that's what I was. But I feel like what my best friend in high school was like the lead in the musical, so I was sort of adjacent to the kids. And then I was sort of adjacent to the band kids, because I had another friend in the band. And then I had friends that, like, I was friends kind of like, one of my other best friends was like, sort of like, for lack of a better word, like a redneck kid. And so he was kind of like off in the redneck group, I guess. And like,
You were one of the people. So
well, I guess. And
The characters you're painting right there, these are redneck theater.
yeah, that's
Really,
true.
I was in high school. Like, yeah, your representation.
Yeah, it was so I feel like I floated around, but I feel like it's now, because I feel like I don't really belong in one group either. Like I'm kind of part of the animation community, part of the animation like industry, but also kind of part of the theater world now, and like also kind of part of like I don't know, like the edgy grounds people, like some of my good friends are like people behind like Smiling Friends, like things like I don't belong to anyone from like community, I guess. Like it's fun. I like not being one.
Very eclectic.
Yeah.
Especially all the fans that we now have coming in.
Exactly. I do want to know what Bryce was like.
No, I'm about to.
Okay.
Bryce, what were you like as a teenager?
Oh, it's boring. I was a highly motivated overachiever who did everything. No. I did musical, and I did sports, and I did scouts, and I got good grades.
So he was perfect.
No, it was not. In any way. But no, I was very serious. And now I'm not.
Some of us look back and be like, I was really wild in high school. It's high school looking at you now.
Correct.
Did you know that your character you were going to be associated with
Exactly.
a sad, horny bird?
Exactly.
Bryce wasn't cool at all. I was just lame, but I had a hot boyfriend. We watched Temptation Island on the phone together and fell asleep. That's not cool. Really?
I was the only cool one in high school.
Really?
I was. But you know, we used to break into places that were foreclosed, like the grocery stores that were shut down, and we would hotbox the fuck out of them. We'd go into houses that people booted by the bank, and we would go, and they would steal stuff.
Fuck
Broke
yeah.
the interior and stole. A lot.
You were a delinquent.
I was cool. I was cool. And you know what? I do it again, and I sometimes do. Yes. Oh, when I came out of my mom like this first.
What is that called? It's not preach. What is that called?
Slay. I slayed. Yes. Doctor tried to give her a C-section.
Ma'am, we need to tell you something. Your baby's about to come out slay.
Man, your baby's about to come. Hey, don't laugh at that. That's me.
Yeah!
So how are we? What are we?
You're doing great. You're doing great. Anyways, the question that everyone wants to know now is that when you're starting with you, which character would you be on the show?
If I could be any character on the show, I'd probably be Moxie.
No. Which character you want to eat?
To eat? Oh, to eat? Oh, that I would eat? Oh. Well, I'm often asked that.
Oh, bitch. Not asking that question.
Which character would I cannibalize? Probably Nifty.
That's an appetizer. I would do mammon and feed a family.
I'm on a diet. I'm on a diet. I'm very keto.
Hey, noted, Vivian. You thought about this, I'm sure. Who looks tastiest?
No. I'm gonna have what's it called when it's on a stick? A skewer! A striker skewer.
If Paradise was right now, what does Striker taste like?
I don't know, spicy? Madonna, how many drugs did you take before this meal? What's really happening?
I want some.
Desire not have my head options. Alright, so you have skewers stuck here. Brandon, who are you eating? Not out, but on a plate.
I would like mammon because I know it's going to taste good, and I want a lot to eat, and also I like Australian food.
Delicious. Rice.
I'm thinking Stella fried chicken sandwich.
I thought we were going to spoil the season 3 finale.
Wait, are we doing Disney characters? How about Angel does sushi?
Is he kind of fish?
It's because he's kind of slimy.
I'm sure you think about this every single time.
I'm not gonna experience this. I'm just still over there. I'm gonna go pass.
Who would eat who out? Now I change my answer.
This is basic character writing. You've got to think about your character.
Look at they're leaving. You bitches. Gotta change the topic. That one's leaving too. Another one leaving right over there. Gotta change the topic. We held a sign outside the panel that said no ugly people allowed, and they finally got the memo. Sorry. Anyway, let's talk about something. We gotta pack this house.
Hey, you know what? I'm tired of asking you all fucking questions. I'm gonna make you ask each other questions. Everybody's she's like,
That's not what I signed up for.
Every person up here knew what they were signing up for.
alright, Minister, I want you to look to your right. I want you to ask Vivian a question. I want you to ask Vivian a question. We've talked so much together. I would like you to ask Vivian a question that you always been being asked.
Vivian,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Great, great, great.
Have you ever been on a panel like this?
No, I haven't, but thank you, audience. I mean, do one of you want to ask a question? Does anyone?
Oh, you just open it up.
Yeah, because I'm like, Brandon does what he wants. Why can't I do what I want? Yeah, I just, this is my turn.
Yes.
This is Vivian's
I'm
moment.
gonna take this question right here. 1, 2, and yes. What's your question?
Your characters were a horror movie. Who would die first?
If what?
If our characters were in a horror movie, who would die first?
Know who's dying last. Yes, she does.
I don't know, Millie is pretty badass. I mean,
What do you think that's like?
That's just a,
I think the first person to die would be the first one who tried to attack one of us. I think that's the answer. Okay, moving on.
You took the champion for your role. Vivian, ask Brandon a question. Hello, Vivian.
I'm not. Yeah.
Brandon,
Yes.
could you please tell me about all of the letters in the LGBTQAI+?
Well, and now it's thinking about all of the letters that are in there now. We got a letter for everyone. It keeps growing still. Now we're adding numbers to it. And I thought all the colors were on the flag, but we're still splashing more. So hey, anyone here gay? Yes, look at all those letters. L, G, B, T, Q, A-O-N-G-G-O-T, what are the rest of the letters? I can say it, most of you in here too can. And Morgana can't do it. You know Morgana's lesbian.
This is very true.
Yeah, she might be lesbian, but she's still horny. So, what was the question? Who would I? Yeah, well, but I have to answer what now? Which of the LGBTs? What was the question? How many letters are in there now?
You answered it, you answered it.
It was very homophobic. Anyway. Brandon, I would like you to ask Lizzie and Madonna Pop a question.
What is one of your favorite memories from when I was the only writer, besides you on the show?
Oh, that's a good one.
One of our Lancers memories.
Yeah, one of our Lancers. Well, okay, I'm going to tell this one because it's fresh in my mind because you told someone else about it. There was was one time when we were writing and my mom was visiting, so she was with us. and so she goes, it's her first time meeting Brandon, and she was just kind of there. Like I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to be writing with Brandon, so okay. And I was like, is it okay if my mom comes? So she'd like to meet you. And we were like, okay.
I would love to get your mom to come, but...
and so...
See, now you don't know her.
She's not coming, so you're all failing. Sorry, just tell your mom, that's your mother.
Yeah, so she was with us. And so when she meets you, she goes, what was it again?
She hugs me, and then she goes, oh, I know what you smell like, but that's okay, because it's illegal here. And I have a crazy story with meeting Erica's mom. Both your moms are kind of crazy. I met her at the has-been thing.
Yeah, I just had hip surgery and I called.
I know, you were doing the dance. And, yes, it was fun. But, whose mom would we, whose mom would we, what are we talking about?
You asked it.
I have ADHD. And it's just
ADHD. It's
Yeah.
I feel like we can handle it differently, but we don't have it, so it's chaotic.
with a hydro ADHD. With a face of Ritalin. Oh, I love Ritalin. Anyone else on it? Good diet pill. Adderall. Yep. Anyone on that? Yes. Also, I have eyes. You don't need to raise your hands.
The early writing days of the show with Brandon and the Letters and how that was.
Yes.
Yes.
I was done. I was like,
He asked Bryce a question. Oh, the curveball.
Oh, actually, genuine question. What was your first Broadway show that you were in?
My first Broadway show was a show called Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson, which I was so excited, yeah, because I did a workshop of it, and then we all found out we were going to Broadway, so it was like a little team dream come true. I played Henry Clay. I had a pet ferret that I thought was alive. It was not alive, and I crossed eyes and I drooled. So it was a very, very vain performance. It was my introduction to the Broadway community, was drooling on myself. I used to put extra cough drops in my mouth during the show so I could have more drool. So that was my Broadway debut, and I'm fucking proud of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really fun one.
Thank you.
Oh, cool. I learned something.
Hey, Bryce.
Yes.
You have a question you would like to ask her?
Oh, do you know what? I do. I would like to know, Erica, quite sincerely, if you can believe it, what is something outside of Helluva that you are most proud of in the last year or so?
In the last year.
It doesn't even have to be an entertainment thing. Like, what are you proud of as a person?
What's your favorite NDA you signed?
In the last year, honestly, if we're getting like very real here, I think I've made a ton of strides in my mental health in the last few years. Because passed away from cancer a few years ago, and that is a grief pit that I would not wish on my worst enemy. And I think I've taken like pretty, I would say drastic, I think it's a negative connotation that I've really, really worked hard
this character I've been gifted to play has meant so much to, and who have been able to look at the show and feel seen in a country that right now wants to make you feel it. And, you know, when I first talked to you about this character, like, I had been waiting for years for a character that not only fit me in my experience as a trans woman, but was also a character that was aspirational, a character whose identity wasn't a tragedy, and who made people who were transgender feel good or cool about being trans. Not just accept it, not just like, oh, I might be able to make it through like this character did it, but actually celebrate it and actually provide confidence. You know, I love the fact that with just that brief scene that she has in Marvel's movie she's introduced, she has lines and she has energy that radiates confidence. It's a character that doesn't feel insecurity in these scenes, and does feel very assured in their own identity. And one of my favorite things we got to do this year was release a Pride collection. And we had a lot of people singing in Pride. And I think it was a special thing to be able to present that to people who love these characters for so long and help represent Pride, and to be able to wear these proudly. And for us to also have this partnership with Hot Topic, where we got to have our characters represent these identities all across the country. In some areas it was extremely difficult. For a lot of people, these ended up being their first Pride t-shirts and their first Pride pins that they got to wear after coming out. So it's a tremendous honor that in some places where this is really hard right now, our fans are still able to be seen, still find a place to be seen, where to go in some states where these laws are being passed and pick up the trans Pride shirts at like their local mall. And, you know, it helps to get them through this. I mean, the biggest thing that I tell everyone who comes up and asks me, like, hey, like, things are really difficult. How do we continue through it? How do we find strength to continue through it? And what I tell them is that we've faced adversity before. This isn't the first time that these things have happened to us. And yet, statistically, there are more queer and trans people coming out every single day. And that is something to look at. It's the fact that despite being attacked before, despite the adversity we faced before, our community still exists. It only grows bigger every day, it only grows stronger every day. And this is just going to be another battle that we triumph over. So that's what I'm proud of this role. We still have plenty of time, so I can actually take some questions. If you have some questions, you brought the fan.
I love this Pride fan. Thank you again. Like, going off of what Mama said, sorry. We're in such difficult times right now, and both Helluva shows, like Helluva shows, are about characters in oppressive systems, fighting those oppressive systems, and trying. So I say this as like a disabled person, as a queer person, as an immigrant. Seeing shows with those themes and messages right now means so much to me. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
There have been some very overarching themes in the show about oppression, about being in systems that really, you know, benefit from, you know, being part of the little guy, and for, you know, kind of oppressing people who want to keep you in a lower state. And especially as well, like learning more about where things come from. There's some subtle hints as to like how things were created and Satan created them to be subservient, and where this is asked by Mastermind, where he's kind of become this underdog hero. So when you went into the show, like what were some of the larger themes that you hope that people would take away from this?
I love that. I mean, yeah, like both shows have to do, so it's unique because both shows are set in the same universe, but the oppressive systems are kind of different. And so the way, you know, the story unfolds with each one is very unique to each show. But Helluva Boss, I think, is authentically the one that's about, like, I think probably the closest to feeling like a real world kind of situation, especially, you know, that have been going on. And I set out to do something just because I believe in that. I believe that you should never be in a box, and the world puts you in a box. And I think for me, it just came from being a queer woman creator in the world of adult animation, which has been a kind of a guys club for majority of the industry existing. And so it's changing now. We're seeing more and more women in this space, but it's still really rare. And so I feel like that kind of just being my experience kind of branched into like the subconscious of just wanting to show like there's more to a person than what you're expected, what role you're expected to play. And I think like because our universe is so fantastical, we don't have a world where there's like these kind of ethereal beings that have created species and stuff like that. That's what sins are. I don't know, like I think it's been really cool, and I think telling the story with Brandon and with the other writers who all have a perspective like that has been really fun to explore. Obviously, it's been one of the more subtle themes in the show because most of it's about the characters and what they're going through. But at the end of the day, it shows about Blitz and his journey with it. So
I just want to say, me personally, as a writer, the whole thing about his inferiority, his like feeling being kept down by this oppressive, hellacious system. I have felt this way my whole adult life about being. I started doing YouTube in 2006 because I couldn't land any auditions, and to this day, I've never landed an audition in my life. I'm 36 years old. I've never landed an audition. Viv was the only one who believed in me enough to cast me in something, and it does. And Shelby's no, yes, thank you. No. Seriously, Viv is the only one in Hollywood who believed in me enough to give me this part. I've never landed an audition, and I show up at these fucking cons, and what does it say? YouTuber. And it's just, I'm a goddamn actor, I'm a comedian, but I'm still called a YouTuber, and we're looked at as less. Well, we're certainly different. No offense to anyone, but we fucking paved our way. I do all my actors' makeup, write scripts, I edit my own shit. I don't just show up and get cast into something, into greatness. Someone would look at me and say, other than Viv, no one looked at me and said, you're good enough. So, yes, I do feel this a lot of Blitz's underdogness comes from a very, very core part of my soul. And I'm getting angry.
Mainstream Hollywood will look for a specific type of gay male actor, and they'll look for a specific type of trans. And even there, when are like a lot into this thing, we still don't feel like we're the right kind. And I also like for the same. So not only am I incredibly grateful to Viv for giving me such a blessing of a character that has not only been like a great joy to portray, but it's also got an audience that wants to see more content from me.
I'm gonna say too, I'd love to tell you still going.
I worked with someone who raised Brandon as well, that introduced me to Brandon. And Brandon was the first person to cast me in roles on camera that made me feel like I could actually play the sort of characters I want to play now.
Because the queer characters that are still getting their own shows are ones that are straight passing or conventionally attractive, or we're still telling that story in 2025. Like, no, I like our show because they are Hollywood unconventional, but very conventional for the real world. I think our characters on this show make people feel normal because there hasn't been characters quite like this that say, hey, look, I'm already queer, and that's not the subject matter. I'm going through a relationship problem, and that's what matters. We can get past the fact that I'm a tragedy or a cocksucker, or whatever you think of me as a homosexual. Like, I like that the show just has queer people, real queer people, and then that's
the least interesting.
That's the least interesting thing.
That is, yeah.
I see like the guys from the fucking Air Force being like, oh, the whole place is still as naked. Have 4 more kids. So anyway, I hate that in this age we're still telling the story of, I love Billy Eichner, I love Neil Patrick Harris, but I don't feel like they represent us as queer people, and those are, oh God, they're none of them work for Amazon, right? We're good, fuck them. Yes. Oh God, I spilled my second drink.
I think that a lot of our shows about family. It's about family and a society that isn't really supporting the characters individually. They find that support among each other, and I think it's resonated with a lot of people in this past how you become like this family that's been traveling around. And we love each other. Some of the biggest opportunities we've had have come out of just this collective that has formed through the show.
Skinner is one of those guys too. I can throw that in there. Like, he works with Amazon Skinner. I don't like him.
Hey, Viv has something to say. Go ahead.
It's okay.
No. So
I just feel like, not to take away, but it's an overarching thing with minorities in general, right? Like, I'm an African American woman, and I'm supposed to sound like I'm from South Central. That is not my reality in life. And so the beautiful thing about animation is I'm not past type, I'm not pigeonholed. I can play anything and everything I want to play because, I do sound like maybe your traditional white girl who goes to school, private school in Los Angeles, California. So I've been given the gift to be able to play somebody that I would never get to play if I was to be on camera because we don't have that many opportunities.
One of those has-been ones. We talk about what we want.
I mean, just to pull it all together someday, I've always felt out of place. Because I maybe part of not being in the clique has made me feel like an outsider as well. And even in the animation industry, like, I can't speak to it to a whole because obviously I've met so many people in the industry who like meet me and they're like, oh my God, I love the show, but like, I don't know, sometimes I don't feel that. Sometimes I do kind of feel like our show is like kind of like the black sheep of animation even. Like it feels like every so often there's an animation people who are like,
Just fucking jealous.
It's weird to me. I'm always like even when the Amazon announcement happened, I saw some people who I know have mutual friends who work on Invincible and on Vox Machina and all these other shows, and they were like, it's okay to be like happy for a show, but also like angry that it's on Amazon, and I was like, guys,
Pick the lane.
it's kind of weird to see that kind of attitude, and sometimes like being who I am and being like in this show being like as raunchy as it is and like all these things that like it's not about making all the queer stories like soft stories, maybe not the focus story because that's just not like nobody wants to see that, or at least I mean not to speak for everyone, but like I feel like we want to be in things as characters and we want stories that are authentic and I think to me, but that's really like made people go like, these characters are problematic and they're, because they're flawed, and I'm like, yeah, because people are flawed and because I'm flawed and because everyone here is flawed. Like, that's see yourself. Yeah. I think Erica. We're established voice, not flawed. I'll say,
I remember talking to you and you told me you were nervous about this going to Amazon because you care so much about other people's feelings and the animation and the artists and kind of feeling like it was almost a betrayal. And you shouldn't have to feel that way. You did.
I care a lot. I care a lot about what everyone thinks and feels. I mean, everyone. I feel like that's something that a lot of creators do. We care a lot. And I think the thing that upsets me the most is when people act like they don't. Like when people are like, oh, she doesn't care about this. She doesn't care about representation in the show. She doesn't care about this or that or putting, I'm like, I care so deeply about every single decision made. And I only make decisions that I know are right for the show, for the cast, for me, and for the future. And so that is one thing that I like having out there is that I think sometimes people think, oh, it's so flippant or it's just for money, it's for whatever. No, it's just deep thought because nothing matters to me more than these characters and these stories and the ability to tell these stories. Like they're the thing. Like my literal, whenever there's we just went to Texas video last night and it was a little bushy thing. And it's the dumbest thing in the world. We're like, and my wish is always, I want to finish my stories.
I want to add on. A lot of people ask, how do you become where you are? How do I get to on Amazon? Or how do I get to where like Viv is where she is. I'm where I am because we're storytellers, and we care so much about these characters. And you don't get anywhere by not having, you know, a bit of authenticity in your work. And Viv's work is so authentic. Whenever I'm at her house, she's like, well, how is Alistair gonna get here? How is this gonna, like, she's constantly in this world.
I'm like, can this animator do this shot? She told us this is really good, it's a really good shot. Can we have this animator do it? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay, it's making sure. I care about so much little.
I don't think I've never heard Viv talk about money other than like, let's have Blitz, other than in the show itself, like Blitz.
Oh, this shot, like there's a 360 pan,
yeah.
and the background moves, so I'm like, okay, this is gonna be more expensive than normal, we have to hire a 3D artist to do this like camera pan, it looks really cool, and my team's like, Ryan, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
I do want to point out as well that, you know, the money from the merchandise that we make, which is all coming from your support, and for you being sad about the merch, buying the merch, all of that goes into the show, and if you notice the show is like looking better and better each episode, that's you. That is you. So as an audience, understand, you have pride in the fact that if the show keeps looking better episode after episode,
Helping that happen.
In fact, this Pride Drop is actually funding our first origin sequence, right? Oh, but no, it's not the characters you think, and it's certainly not once you're open, so.
And I also want to point out something else. We touched on a little bit, but one of the things I'm most excited about with Helluva and Amazon is that Amazon is helping us localize the show in a much wider way, which means that the show is getting official dubs in other languages, and it's going to be more widely available to people.
They don't like it. They don't like that. They're leaving. Sorry. It'll be in English too. But don't you want some Japanese plants? I do.
Actually, that's a question for you guys. Have you guys ever watched the dubs yet? Or a couple of them are out. We have the Latin American one. We have, I don't know which other one. I know the Latin American one's out.
Yes, I love the Latin voice. I'm learning Spanish.
I don't think the Japanese though. Yeah, I don't think the Japanese one is out yet.
So we're working on that. The Latin American dub I love because my friend Ophelia Pastrana, who's a trans comedian in Mexico City, auditioned for it. It was all blind, and she ended up snagging the role of Latin American Sally Kane. So.
It's so fun. Like, I don't know, when women is all out in that, you guys should watch it and all that.
I love some campus, something Japanese.
No, isn't that cool?
Oh, how the turntables.
The turntables. Don't be quiet on my line. I want to know who's voicing Japanese Moxie. That's you. Oh, that's why you're learning Japanese.
Here are just Japanese facts.
Here's my favorite Japanese line. My favorite line in Japanese. You know we spoke Japanese, didn't you?
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm here for 30 more minutes.
See you all.